everybody. We are doing our last notebook entry for the year. Super crazy. So go ahead, get your notebook from class. And this week is just giving you time to review. You do have a test at the end of the week. So here we go. It's going to be called Polynomial Review. Polynomial review. Okay, so here are kind of the main things you need to know for your test. So I'm just going to write need to know. So you got to know how to classify polynomials. And classifying means naming them. So is it a cubic binomial? Is it a linear monomial? You have to know how to name it. So that comes from the week 8 video lesson. Another thing on week 8 was how to write a polynomial in standard form. Okay, so standard form is writing it from highest degree to lowest degree. Highest power or exponent goes in the front, and then you go descending from that. Okay, so you have to know how to write something in standard form. Also in week 8, you reviewed how to add and subtract polynomials. And we know this as combining like terms. Okay, that's adding and subtracting polynomials. So all of this, and you can make a note of this if you want, that all of this comes from week 8. Okay, because these two things are, you know, fairly easy. And then this was a review of a concept we already learned. But you also have to know how to multiply polynomials. And the videos where you multiplied polynomials are weeks 9, 10, and 11, okay? Because we actually did quite a few things. We learned how to do FOIL or box method. I guess before that we did distributive property. Okay, so I first taught you distributive property, which you already knew. What was new though was this FOIL method when you have two sets of parentheses next to each other. If you want to use box method, totally fine. And then last week I taught you what to do when you are squaring binomials. So your test this week, which is just called polynomial test, has all of this on it. Okay, you have to be confident with all of this stuff. So if you need to go back and watch the videos before, I think that's a great idea. Delta Math can help you some, but Delta Math doesn't have every sort of practice. So you are gonna need to watch the videos if you haven't yet. Okay, so that's weeks 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. All right, so this lesson today is just a whole bunch of practice. So the directions for these problems are simplify, not simply, whoops, simplify. So simplifying means you have to follow order of operations because we always do that in math. Order of operations is PEMDAS. I'm gonna write that in a new color, PEMDAS. Like you always have to follow order of operations. Okay, so keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is we always need our final answer written in standard form. Okay, so here we go. First problem. We have 3y plus 2 minus, and then you have a set of parentheses. Inside your parentheses is 8y minus 5. double check you copied that down correctly. And then this would be a great time to pause the video and practice it without me talking through. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and start. We start with P, which is parentheses. So if I just look what's inside the parentheses, 8y minus 5. Can I actually subtract those numbers, 8y minus 5? No, because that 5 does not have a y on it. They're not like terms. So that's kind of done. I check it off my list. Now I go to E, which is exponents. There are no exponents in here, so that's kind of checked off. Multiplication and division are in the same step, as well as addition, subtraction. Multiplication, you might not see a timesing symbol, but this right here is distributive property. We have to multiply or distribute this secret -1 that's in front of the parentheses throughout everything inside the parentheses. So that's where we're going to start, multiplication. So we distribute. -1 times 8y is -8y. -1 times -5 is +5. And now I'm going to drop down at the other stuff. Okay. So multiplication and division are done. Now we go to addition and subtraction, which is what's left here. And this is where you just combine like terms. So my 3y can go with my -8y. 3y minus 8y is -5y. And then this +2 can go with this +5, which makes +7. So I have -5y plus 7. So let's check. Is this in standard form? Highest degree to lowest degree. Some of you are thinking, well, there's no exponent, I can't tell. Yeah, variables have that secret exponent of 1. So this does have a degree of 1, whereas 7 is a constant, has a degree of 0. So we went from a degree of 1 to a degree of 0. This is definitely in standard form. Okay, now we're done. But I think we need to practice this because some of you forgot how to classify. So first thing I see is that this has 2 terms. So it's a binomial. Bi means 2. But what type of binomial? Well, you have to look at the degree. So the term with the highest power is this term right here. And that has a secret degree of 1, a secret power of 1. So in week 8, I had you write down 2 little tables in your notes. You can use those on your test. I know it by heart because, you know, I'm a nerdy math teacher. But if it has a degree of 1, it's linear. And the fact that it has 2 terms means it's a binomial. Okay? So that's just a little side note of what you would classify it as. It is needed to for your test, so it is important that you know it. Okay, let's go on to number 2. 10x is right next to a set of parentheses. Inside your parentheses, you have 2x plus 3. And then after that, you're going to subtract x squared and then add 4x. Okay, so let's make sure that's written down correctly. Pause the video here and play it again when you want to correct it. All right, parentheses, 2x plus 3. I can't do anything there. They're not like terms. I go to exponents. I see an exponent here, but can I actually like solve what it's squaring? No, it's just x squared, and that's just what it is. So that's kind of checked off our list. Multiplication and division. Yeah, distributive property is multiplication. So 10x times 2x is 20x squared. 10x times 3 is 30x. Drop down everything else. And now we go on to the last step of order of operations, which is combining like terms. So I get to put my x squareds with my x squareds. 20x squared minus 1x squared is 19x squared. I put my x's with my x's. 30 plus 4 is 34x. This is in standard form because you have highest degree down to lowest degree. This has a degree of 2, this has a degree of 1, so it is descending order. Okay, now let's go ahead and name this. So this one had 2 terms, so it's a binomial. This one also has 2 terms, so it's definitely a binomial again. Okay, but what's the degree? What's the term with the highest degree? This guy. And its degree is 2. So what we call that is a quadratic binomial. Now, if you're like, Meineke, you never taught me about this linear quadratic binomial stuff. Yeah, I did. It's in week 8. Go to the week 8 video lesson, teach yourself, okay? Number 3. Number 3, we're gonna have 2 sets of parentheses right next to each other. If you have 2 sets of parentheses next to each other, that means they are multiplying. All of this stuff times all of this stuff, okay? Inside the first set, you have x minus 4. And then the second set of parentheses, you have 8x minus 3. Pause the video, see what you remember without my help. Okay, so this is going to be where you either use FOIL, which is first, outside, inside, last, or you can use a box method and set up a 2x2 box method. If you've been watching the videos, you know that my preference is to just do this FOIL thing. Totally use box method if you need to, okay? And on the test, you get to choose. So I'm going to do FOIL though. First, x times 8x is 8x squared. Outside terms, x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Now I'm going to multiply my inside terms. Negative 4 times 8x is negative 32x. And then I'm going to multiply my last terms. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. Okay, now we get to add and subtract, combine like terms. The 8x squared, there's no other x squareds to go with it, so I'm just going to drop it down. Negative 3x can go with a negative 32x, which is negative 35x. And then I just drop down that 12. So everything's combined up. Now you need to check if it's in standard form. Degree of 2, secret degree of 1, degree of 0. Because there's no variable there. So 2, 1, 0, yeah, it's in standard form. It's in decreasing order. Okay, now let's name this. These two were binomials. Is this a binomial? No. It has 1, 2, 3 terms. So it's not a binomial, it's a trinomial. Now, what's the highest degree in this polynomial though? Highest degree is 2. And this also had a degree of 2, so it's quadratic. So this one's also quadratic. Quadratic trinomial. That's the name of this answer, okay? Number 4, 10 plus, and then you're gonna have a set of parentheses. Inside your parentheses is 3x plus 5, but that set of parentheses is squared. And then after that, you're gonna subtract an x cubed. Okay, pause the video if you wanna try it out yourself. All right, order of operations, parentheses first, 3x plus 5. I can't actually add that together. They're not like terms. Exponents, I see 2 exponents. This cubed, x cubed, I can't really solve that. But this squared is telling me that I need to do what to this set of parentheses? Remember, a huge mistake, a common mistake that people make is they want to just distribute this squared to this guy and to this guy and call it a day, and that's absolutely wrong. So if I'm taking all of this junk right here and I'm squaring it, what I'm doing is I'm timesing it by itself. So I'm going to expand that out. 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 5. Okay, that's what this truly means, timesing it by itself twice. I'm going to drop down the other stuff, and here's what we're left with. Okay, so I can't solve what's in the parentheses still. Exponents are kind of done. I expanded it out. Now I go to multiplication or division. There is some multiplication here. This set of parentheses is timesing by this set. So you can use box method or FOIL. I'm going to use FOIL. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 5 is 15x. 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 5 is 25. I still have to drop down the other stuff though. Sorry, this is crammed. Okay. Next, I'm going to combine like terms. So 10 goes with the 25 to make 35. X squared, there's no other x squared, so I'm just going to bring down the 9x squared. 15x plus 15x is positive 30x, and there's no other x cubed, so I'm just going to drop down that. Now, is this my final answer? No, it is not in standard form. The highest degree, the term with the highest degree is right here. Is that an x cubed or a negative x cubed? Keep that negative in front of it. So I bring out that. Next is going to be your x squared, so plus 9x squared. Then we're going to go to the x term, so plus 30x. Lastly, we're going to add this positive 35. So that is your final answer. Okay. So binomials have 2 terms, trinomials have 3. This one has 4 terms. Do you remember what we named that? So 4 or more terms, we actually just go very general and it's a polynomial. But what type of polynomial? Well, its degree is 3. So a degree of 2 is quadratic, a degree of 3 is cubic, and it's just a polynomial because it has 4 terms. Okay, now if you kind of understand this, you're looking pretty good for your test. I am gonna do 2 more problems, and this is similar to when we were in real school. I'd always kind of give you guys some challenging ones at the end. These are my go big or go home problems. So if you can do this, you can do anything. So this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a lot, and I just want you to work hard, okay? Pause the video, see if you can do it without my help. So lots of stuff here. We're gonna start with a -8 plus, you have a set of parentheses, 5x minus 4. And that set of parentheses is being multiplied by another set of parentheses. In the second set, you have x plus 8. But there's more. You're going to add 10x squared and then subtract a 3 that's being multiplied by parentheses 2x minus 5. Holy cow. Make sure you take the time and see if you wrote that down correctly. So remember, we always, always, always want to follow order of operations. Okay, pause the video, try it out. Here we go, I'm gonna start. Parentheses. I can't solve what's inside any of the parentheses because they're not like terms. Exponents, I see an exponent here, but I can't really do anything. X squared is just x squared. So I go to multiplication and division. Now, these 2 sets are going to be multiplied. I'm going to use FOIL. You could use box method, but there's also multiplication here. So I'm going to do all the multiplying in one step. You don't have to do it all at once, though. So I'm going to start with this. 5 times x is 5x squared. 5 times 8 is 40x. -4 times x is -4x. -4 times 8 is -32. So I got that just for foiling those 2 sets of parentheses. Okay, I'm gonna drop down this -8 so I don't lose it. I'm gonna drop down this 10x squared, and then I get to some distributive property. Now, This is not a 3, it's a negative 3. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Whew. Okay, so you got all of your multiplication out of the way. Now you go to addition and subtraction. So we are going to combine like terms. I'm missing something right here. This was a positive 5x squared. Okay, negative 8. Does it have friends? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, so these three things can be grouped up. Negative 8 minus 32 gets us negative 40, but you also have to put it with the 15. Negative 40 plus 15 is negative 25. Yes, negative 25. Okay. 5x squared can go with 10x squared. They're both positive, so that's 15x squared. And then I group up my x's. So 40x minus 4x is 36x. 36 minus 6x is just 30x. Did I do that right? 40 minus 4 is 36. 36 minus 6 is 30. Okay. And now we just have to make sure this is in standard form. So highest degree goes out front. So 15x squared, followed by a 30x, followed by negative 25. So that is my final answer. Okay, let's see if you can name it. What's its name? Degree is 2, so it's quadratic. How many terms? 1, 2, 3. Trinomial. Quadratic trinomial. Okay, last one. Go big or go home. This is the last problem of our notes this year. Isn't that weird? Okay, we got a negative out front of parentheses. Inside those parentheses, you have 2x minus 10. Then after that, you're going to add 8x to the 5th power. And then you're going to add a 2. And that 2 is right next to a set of parentheses. Inside is 4x plus 3. But wait, that set of parentheses is being squared. Ruh-roh. And at the very end, you're going to subtract x squared. Holy cow. I challenge you to try it out. You need to be very careful over here. Okay. Okay. Order of operations, parentheses. I can't simplify what's in there. I cannot simplify what's in there. Exponents. I see a lot of exponents. Can I do anything here? No. There's nothing to be solved right there. There's nothing to be solved right there. But this exponent is very important. What it's saying, that exponent, is it's saying you have to square all of this stuff inside, which means we have to expand this out to 4x plus 3 times 4x plus 3. So that's kind of the first thing you need to notice, is to expand that out. Now from here, I'm just going to drop down everything else. Okay, now you kind of have some choices here. We're on multiplication, so I'm gonna definitely distribute that negative through. I'll do that real quick. Negative 2x plus 10, because negative times negative is positive. I'm gonna drop that dude down. And then here, you have an option of distributing this 2 in the first set, but then you're still going to have to do FOIL with everything else. I'm going to choose to do FOIL first. So I'm actually going to use brackets. And I don't know if you've seen this in our class yet. Whatever's inside these brackets is whatever's left after I FOIL. So I'm going to go ahead and FOIL. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times 3 is 12x. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, now these brackets are really just, I don't know, fancy parentheses. You could put parentheses, it would mean the same thing. And now I'm going to actually simplify what's inside those parentheses, because I can put the 12x and 12x together to make 24x. Okay, and like I said, you don't have to use brackets, so I'll just change them to parentheses, show you it's the same thing. Drop down everything else. Okay, we still have some multiplying to do though. This is distributive property right here. So let's multiply that 2 through. 2 times 16x squared is 32x squared. 2 times 24x is 48x. 2 times 9 is 18. Drop down everything else. Okay. All your parentheses, exponents, and multiplying is done. Now you are going to go ahead and combine like terms. So you can start wherever. I'm just going to start right in front. 2x can go with, negative 2x can go with positive 48x. Negative 2 plus 48 is positive 46x. 10 can go with 18. That makes 28. Are there any other x to the fifths? No, so I'm just gonna drop that down. And then positive 32x squared minus x squared is positive 31x squared. So we've combined all of our like terms. Now you need to make sure it's in standard form. Highest degree is this 5 right there, so 8x to the fifth. Then we go to a degree of 2. Then we go to a degree of 1. And then we put our constant, which has a degree of 0 at the back. Final answer, 8x to the fifth plus 31x squared plus 46x plus 28. Now, how do you name this? Name it. Highest power is 5, and if you remember from week 8, that little chart, if it has a power of 5, we just call it a 5th degree. And then it has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 or more terms is just a general polynomial. So that's its classification, that's its name. Okay, so honestly, if these were challenging to you, good, okay? I wanted to challenge you. For your test, this front page should be solid. If it's not, you need to go back and rewatch week 8, week 9, week 10, and week 11, okay? So I'll post this video today, which is Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm actually gonna upload the test. That doesn't mean you have to do it though. You can wait till Friday or whenever, but it'll be there if you're ready. But also, if you haven't done the study guide, you are graded on the study guide, and the study guide is located in the week 12 folder in the files tab on Teams. If you need help finding it, let me know. It is graded. You don't have to take a picture of it necessarily, but you do have to type up your answer to the last question and email it to me. Okay, so that's how you get credit. All right, thank you so much for a great year, guys. Miss you a lot. Happy summer. Hope to see your faces at Chihuahua next year. Bye.